All right, welcome to actually our first episode of Your Coach, Your Money, a branch of the Your Money series that we're very excited about. This is our launch session, so to speak. We've got a great guest in today, and the evolution of the podcast series and what we do, I think, is important to understand. And Matt, I thought we'd kind of illustrate Your Coach, Your Money to our listeners, and maybe you can take it from here and just kind of talk about timing and why and what we're doing with this session.
The segment is built for young professional athletes, young amateur athletes that are working their way up the ladder. And like you said, we have a great guest here today, but Your Coach, Your Money is all about shining light on things that are important. And we're going to try to do it once a quarter. We're going to try to highlight an athlete locally or nationally that I think our base of clients want to hear from, and I think there's some great stories to be told about travel and about the financial burdens and about all the great things that can happen, the possibilities. So, without any ado, it's Your Coach
and Your Money.
All right, so we're gonna jump right into it. We got my favorite wrestler who my heavyweight could not beat back in the day.
Game close.
Yeah, dude. Sir, then he Merkled him, right? So for you wrestling fans out there, yes, a heavyweight can Merkle. It is real. Al, I'm gonna do a little bio on you, and that you typed up. I appreciate it, but there's some importance to knowing who we're talking to here. And Al has put a tremendous amount of time into his practice. As an athlete and a professional. So Shaddai Van Hoesen, right? I say it right?
El Shaddai. Like El should die.
I always say it wrong. I'm sorry. Shaddai, I'm sorry. But better known as the Big Pisser.
The Big
on
Pisser.
on Instagram, right? He's got a pretty good mantra going and a great following. He's 4-0 in MMA currently. He's a heavyweight prospect. I hope that gets him on the map for Bellator and even the UFC. He's a 3-time All-American wrestler from high school, 3-time New York State Freestyle and Greco champ. He's a New York State finalist, which is a tremendous accomplishment. He trains out of Clever Combat in Latham, New York with Bill Schwartz and Phil Bazicki, who is also a former wrestler of mine. Very happy to announce that. He's training under Fahim. Help me with the last name.
I don't know how to say it either.
Okay.
Ahmed
Mesadazi and Greg Smith, MMA striking in Muay Thai, currently ranked 5th in New York State Amateur, currently ranked number 6 in the Northeast. He's a Cage Wars super heavyweight champion of the world. And he's fighting for K4. He's got a championship fight in Buffalo on April 29th, and he's fighting for the Cage Wars heavyweight champ on June 3rd.
2-time double champ.
We're going for a double champ. This is a big bio right there, man.
Shoulder, baby.
I didn't memorize that. I wasn't going to try to. I already screwed up his freaking last name to start it off.
Told me to write a bio. I said, I can do that. That's one thing I can do.
I want to kick right off with L. You've done a lot of traveling. I mean, how old are you right now?
27 right now.
So, I mean, you're getting to that point in the professional world where I want to hear right away, a story, either it be really good or really bad, that I think, people can connect with, whether it be about travel or fighting, something, a small anecdotal story where, you experience and you had that aha moment. Wow, I'm a professional.
Well, I think it's good to hear both.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Maybe
people,
both.
People need to
let's
know
do
the
both.
pluses and minuses in the athletic world.
Yeah.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
So maybe that aha moment.
Right, so, the last fight is a perfect place to start, right? I fought for my first time fighting outside of, locally. You usually fight at Cage Wars at the Rivers Casino in Schenectady. But my last fight, we fought in, I think it's Patchogue, Long Island.
Okay.
And it was the first...
crazy last names, right?
Yeah, it was the first fight I had to travel for. So, as you know, in wrestling and in MMA, there's weight classes. So it was the first time I had to, I wouldn't say I had to cut weight, but I couldn't eat in the morning.
Right.
I couldn't eat in the morning.
The stomach starts grumbling.
The stomach starts grumbling. So,
You're wearing a sweatsuit yet.
No, I wasn't in the sweatsuit, but I brought the sauna suit just in case. You know what I mean?
With big guys, it's a lot easier, though.
Big guys. So, usually the weigh-ins are the day before, but, being a young athlete, I decided to travel out the day of the fight instead of, paying those extra hotels for me and my coach and my team. We decided to save money and travel out there the day of. So I'm weighing in the day of.
That's a big problem sometimes.
Which I'm used to as a wrestler, right?
Right.
I'm used to as a wrestler, but as a fighter, it's a little bit different. And MMA is weird because wrestling, it's tough on your body too, and it requires a lot of energy.
Yeah.
But in MMA, it's even more because it's three-minute rounds, which is a little bit longer than a wrestling match.
Yeah.
And it's striking and grappling. You're burning a lot of energy, right? So After I weigh in, you got a couple hours to replenish and refuel. And I'm in this town, and I don't know where none of the food places is. So I weigh in. I find the weigh-in people came late, so that's already a strike.
You're hungry.
I'm hungry.
Listen, you got to wait. You preface this with you're hungry.
I'm hungry. And
He's a big man, guys.
And it wasn't like I was like really cutting weight, like I couldn't eat. I ate the night before, but it's something about when you can't eat that makes you more hungry, right? And so it's like in theory, I wasn't that hungry, but the fact that I knew I couldn't eat was making me hungrier, right?
So you weren't in a good mood. Okay,
I wasn't in a good mood. So we weigh in, and now we got to find something to eat. And if you know anything about, the way this, all the fighters know, once you do certain things, you can't leave the premises, right? Once you check in. So it's like I knew I had to get this food before, but I wasn't prepared. I didn't even think of these things beforehand, right? So for me, that was a major aha moment. Now I'm lucky enough to have a meal prep sponsor. Shout out to Upstate Meal Prep.
Here we go.
And they take care of me food wise. So now I was just talking to Janelle, the owner of the company, and I was telling her this time I'll be able to bring my meal preps with me to the weigh-ins. And as an athlete, you know how important it is to, your body is used to, you want to, the day you compete, you want to do the things that you've been doing the whole time you were training, right?
Absolutely.
So it's like I was concerned a little bit about that fight. Like, what am I going to eat? I don't want to eat something that upsets my stomach.
I don't want to go to get Wendy's or Taco Bell, just a quick hit,
Yeah, quick hit and be, I could have went to McDonald's, but it's like you can't go to McDonald's because you got to fight. You need good fuel.
Yeah.
Now, shout out to Upstate Meal Prep. I'll be prepared for this next fight. I'll have my food with me. My meals ready to go. So it's not even a question. You know what I mean? So I didn't get that sponsor until after that fight.
But I think that evolution's a great conversation piece, right? And we talk about schedule. And for the young athlete, the young professional, it's the same thing as an advisor when we talk to a client. Have a great budget, have a great schedule.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You gotta stick to it.
Well, I think the key point that I take away from that is you're an athlete, but you're a business owner like anyone else.
Yes, sir.
Right, but your business is your body.
Yeah, and if you're in business and you learn from your mistakes and you learn from the tough times, and it's what you do to improve on that, right?
Yes,
and
sir.
in your case, it was, you didn't have the meal prep,
Nope.
but you went out there and found a sponsor then to keep supporting your practice and keep supporting your drive towards where you want to be.
Well, it's a double-edged sword in a good way, maybe a double-edged shield. Right?
Shield with a sword in the front.
Yeah, it's a double-edged shield because it takes care of some of the food costs that it costs to maintain like a healthy. Because I'm transitioning into being a professional, right?
Hell yeah.
And maybe I'm ready for professional skill level, but for me, it's important that my body and my mind is prepared for that change.
Yeah.
I already carry myself like I'm a professional because I'm a firm believer that, especially in fighting, right, I can apply to be a professional tomorrow. So for me, it's very important that like I live that every day. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Especially at the beginning when I'm changing this level from, and I've only been fighting for a year, right? But I feel like I'm ready to fight professionally. There's a lot of professionals I know I can beat. And so it's like I'm internalizing that professional mindset now before I even switch. Because a lot of people, when I'm doing these interviews with my opponents and we're trash talking, they're like, "Oh, he's selling the fight. He's just an amateur." Okay, I'm an amateur. You're an amateur.
Listen, how do you think Conor McGregor got rich?
Yeah,
right?
How do you think he got rich?
He's a great salesman.
First of all,
And a great fighter, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But he's a great salesman.
And that's part of the job.
Yeah.
Right? That's part of the game. And it's like, so when are you gonna since you're an amateur in your mind, when do you decide that you're a professional in your mind? When does that transition take place for you? Because I'm a professional right now.
Well,
right?
I think the biggest thing is you take a professional approach, right? And that minute by minute, that learning experience you had on that, oh my God, I don't know what to eat.
That
right?
was scary.
So, and I'll tell you, just from experience when I played football, right? We had a schedule the day of a game. It literally listed out every minute of the day. What time you woke up, when you went to breakfast, what you had to do before film, all the way to the end of the day when you went to sleep, even after the game, right?
And mindset has a lot to do with that, and that's to your
sir.
point. Is if your mindset is that you're on the top of the game right there, just that confidence, especially going into fight, that confidence,
Yes, sir.
is important. You can't discount that.
No, well then let's widen the scope now. Ready? So let's imagine a world where you do go pro, and now you're worried about all the things that are affecting your business, which is your body. But now you have to integrate all the money stuff.
Yes,
The contracts and the negotiations, and now what do I do? Who do I trust?
Yes, sir.
Right? And so I want to dial that out and say the reason we created the Your Coach brand is that we want to help people that are just coming through those ranks. Because there's a lot of them.
Yes, sir.
Well, it's important for our listeners to understand, and we should have said this at the beginning, not to take away from El Shaddai, but Matt, you were in the NFL, and that's a level that very few people get to as well.
Feels like a lifetime ago.
And I know from our conversations, you're passionate about being your coach and your money to kind of let people know, hey, there's support for professional athletes.
There is, and it's tough because you don't know who to trust.
Yeah.
I remember being in the locker room the first time I got a real check. And that'll happen to you. You're going to have that locker room moment when someone comes in and gives you that first $25,000 knockout of the night check.
Yes, sir.
Because you're going to get one.
Yeah, for sure.
I promise you.
Soon.
But what do you do with that money? Where does it go? How do you manage it? Because prior to you coming here, Mark, we talked about medical. I want to pick your brain about the medical side. There's a lot of what ifs in the fighting game, just like in football and baseball. Have you dealt with any injuries yet? Have you overcome any major injuries yet?
I got hit by a car like a year or two ago. Like physically, the car hit me.
Oh my God!
Boom! Right. So I get hit by the car, and it turns out I had a torn ACL. Right. This is before I started fighting.
Okay.
Luckily, that's a no-fault situation, right, where it's covered. But I'm looking at the medical bills, because you got to get the bills before you get the
insurance stuff,
the insurance stuff. And I'm like, dang, if this wasn't a no-fault situation, like your boy might be legless,
right?
You know what I mean? And it's something I think about often because in this sport, all it takes is one hit to rattle your brain or to maim you or injure you. Which is why, I push my brand so important because I know the risk that's going into every fight, right? And it's something I think about a lot, and I haven't really, gotten the right resources on what all that means, but it's been on my mind heavily. Right now, I got insurance. I got good insurance. I'm covered, but, soon, and as I take more risk with my body, I'm sure that the insurance thing is
there's a threshold. We're like, all right, well, you're fighting for a living. Now it's like a little harder to insure you.
Yeah.
So, no, I want to make sure as we talk about this stuff, you talked a little bit about the training and travel. Let's talk a little bit about the pressure and like being in a fight and what it's like, because I think our listeners and I think your listeners as well, they don't realize how much pressure is involved in the preparation and then the actual performance in itself, right? So talk a little bit about that.
Well, for me, as you know, we've been at this for a long time.
Diamonds, baby. That's what pressure creates, either diamonds or dust.
We've been at this for a long time. And as you know, when I was a junior in high school, the year I made the state finals run, right? I wasn't a section champ that year. I wasn't a section finalist that year. I was third in the section that year. Yeah. I was third in the section, which is like a state qualifier tournament for anybody that might not know.
Sectional tournament.
Sectionals. Right. And then I got second in the state, which is like, well, how do you do that? How is that a thing? It's because
that's really hard to do.
It's because for me, it's always been I'm always in the moment. So it's like I do the work. Once you do the work, when the moment comes, you just got to perform. You know what I mean? And I can see how it's a high pressure situation for a lot of people, and that's something I use to my advantage against some of these people I'm fighting with now who maybe don't have an extensive combat career, right? Yeah. Maybe they come from football, or maybe they come from like different sports, CrossFit or something, and now they're trying their hand at MMA and they've been training for a while, but it's like the gym and the ring is different. Yeah. You know what I mean?
There's a different gear.
There's a gym in the ring.
You gotta have a different
gear.
Getting
a fist in the face is a little different than lifting a dumbbell.
And a lot of people think like, a lot of guys, I trash talk pretty much every heavyweight in the region. You know what I mean? I'm on them. I'm on them. I'm trash talking them. I'm letting them know. And they're like, well, I'm sparring with this guy. And I'm doing this. I'm sparring. I'm like, bro, I don't want to. Well, this is not sparring.
Right.
First of all, there's a difference between wrestling and MMA.
Of course.
And there's a difference between kickboxing or boxing and MMA. People don't understand is MMA, sure, it's a martial art, but at the end of the day, at its base root, it's a cage fight.
It's a fight.
It's a cage fight.
It's a fight.
Like there's rules, but barely. Let's be honest. The rules are a little loose. And, people talk about, you're doing this and they want to be honorable. And it's like, bro, we're fighting in a they do this with chickens. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? They do this with chickens, bro.
It's a great analogy.
You know what I mean? We're not doing this for honor. We're doing this for money. in clout and fame, and to build our name and to put our families in a better situation. So whatever I have to do to maximize every opportunity I have in that ring, in that cage, right, where I'm risking my body and my health and my future, I'm going to make sure that every time I do that, I'm benefiting it to the maximum. You
Absolutely.
know what I mean?
Yeah, well, and that's where I want to make sure, and the reason why Mark and I wanted to create this special is that for athletes out there, for young kids, or even guys that are in their 30s or 40s, there's always opportunity. And the question is, are you going to take advantage of that opportunity, or are you going to let it pass you by? Right now is our point in the show. We're going to do a little community shout out, and I'd like you to shout out the place that does your meal prep. If you want to grab their information,
Yes, sir.
Love to the spotlight, right?
I got a few sponsors.
Yeah.
You want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I have a great guy, BioGreen of upstate New York. It's a lawn care company run by Mike Caravino. You can reach him at 518-937-0607. Done a ton of community service. He does great work in the community, and everything he does is really safe for your lawn. I know I have a dog. I have 2 kids. So when he comes over, my kids can go on the lawn the next day. I'm not worried about pesticides killing, animals and hurting my kids. So BioGreen of upstate New York, if you don't have a great lawn care company, work with them. They're phenomenal. And I want you to shout out your people too, because obviously if someone's feeding you, you got to make sure you love them a little bit, right?
So can I grab my phone and as a reference point?
Absolutely. Go for it, man. We want to shout out.
All right, I'm sorry.
Well, let's do 3. You got 3 of them? You got 3 for us?
Yeah, I got 3 for you.
All right, let's do 3. The rule of 3 is always good.
Because
any more than 3, it's hard to remember.
So, we'll start off with the people who do my shirts.
Yes.
My good friend Eugene, he does all my shirts printing. And that's a good way as a fighter, we talk about financials. It's a great way for fighters to make money.
Gear, right? Selling gear, merchandise.
Before they get paid, right? So you can find him at Made in Truth Clothing on Instagram. Obviously, the meal prep. Janelle at Upstate Meal Prep. That's the Instagram, Upstate Meal Prep. She hooks it up. Great food. Every time I'm making it, people are like, oh, that looks good. I do my promos for her. And then final Iron Breed Fitness. My Guy, he owns a gym out in Rotterdam. It's called Iron Breed Fitness. You can look it up on Instagram. It's a nice private gym. I can go there and, sometimes these bigger gyms out here, around certain times, it's like packed. You can't get your work in. Can't get your work in. This gym it's you get exclusive access. They give you a code. You can access it 24 hours a day.
Nice.
Whenever you want, you go in there. He's got everything you need to get a great workout in. It's a great place. So those are sponsors I want to shout out for today. There's more. I'm sorry if I left you out, but I do my end.
The rule of three.
I do my end of the deal for the sponsors. I
know Mark's got a couple questions for you too. I'm sorry, I'm absorbing a lot of the time, Mark. It's exciting. I love it. I'm really pumped. But
I think what hits home is I don't think people appreciate the pressure that fighters are in yes, relation to the amount of time and effort that your coaches put into you.
Yes, sir.
Your dojo, the honor and respect that you bring to them, and the people that help you train. Can you talk a little bit about that and just kind of what behind the scenes and the support staff and what helps you improve your game?
It's very important. Very important. I'm lucky to have some amazing people that look out for me and support me on the preparation end, right? So obviously Phil Bazicki, he owns Clever Combat. He's a co-owner with Bill Schwartz. And, I had left from my other gym. We had a disagreement on the future of my career. All love there. I love those guys. They helped me get to the title. But, when that time came, I needed to find a new gym, long story short. And, I went to pretty much every gym out here. But, I'm a firm believer in when you're in times of need, you go to your roots, people who you've known for a long time. And me and Phil, we've been on the same wrestling club, wrestling teams, off-season traveling for a long time. So when I heard he had a gym, I was like, let me go check him out. So I go there. They have an amazing facility. Oh, my God, it's beautiful. They have everything you need, weights. They got bags. They got the nice cages. They got everything. And then the people there are high quality. Phil's a high quality person. I know you can speak for that yourself.
Surround yourself with greatness and you'll be great, man.
Since he was a kid, you know what I mean? He was always a great person. And then Bill, he is a jiu-jitsu mastermind. We've been working on different positions that are really, because my last fight, I couldn't ground and pound to the face, so I was taking the guy down.
Oh, that's right. Wait, can we understand why though? Some listeners out there won't know why.
So when you're coming up through the amateur ranks, right, in New York, your first 2 fights have special novice rules to where you have to wear shin pads.
Okay.
You can't ground and pound on the face when you're on the mat. And there's some other rules. I'm not 100%.
It's a 3-minute round, not 5.
Yeah, 3-minute rounds. All amateur fights are 3-minute rounds, 3-minute rounds. So I was past the novice rules. That was my 4th fight. But my opponent, the original opponent I was supposed to fight, pulled out. So you know me, being a competitor, give me anyone. Right? So they gave me this guy. He's on his 2nd fight, I believe. Still in novice rules. So I had to conform to those rules.
So you have to go to the rules of the person you're fighting.
I'm fighting. As you know, I'm a wrestler, so that severely restricts my skill set, right?
Right.
And I know some jiu-jitsu, but I didn't really tone in. I'm still a white belt. I'm at like a 2-stripe white belt level, right? So, you know, at Clever, there's Bill. He's a black belt. He's one of the best jiu-jitsu guys in the area, and we've been really keying in on like positions that I frequently find myself in, right?
Okay.
So he's been helping me tune that up so I can get that finish in the future. And then lastly, Fahim. Man, I was hitting the punching bags at ABC one day, and you know I'm a knockout. I win most of my fights by knockout.
Listen, you got heavy hands. You got heavy hands, bud.
A lot of power, but I was just swinging these.
Swinging, going. That's why people come to the fights, man.
That's why they come. But you know, I'm at the thing, and Fahim, he's from Afghanistan. He's a Muslim dude. He's like, you fight MMA? I'm like, yeah, a little bit. Mind you, I just won the belt.
I wish I could have been there for this interaction.
I'm a humble guy, right? So he's got his bag with him. He pulls out the mitts. He's like, we hit mitt. So I get to hit mitts, right? And I'm like, oh, this guy kind of knows his stuff. Turns out he helped train Roger Zabata. He's a local guy. He's the Albany Police Force
Zabata, yeah. I used to wrestle with him when they were doing it back in the day.
So he was a UFC fighter, and turns out he helped train him, and he helped train a lot of fighters. So when people see me working with him, they're like, yo, where'd you find Fahim? I'm like, Fahim found me.
Fahim found me.
It was just
when you're a wrestler or a fighter, you see another wrestler or another fighter, it's like a lion seeing a lion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're like, oh, hey, I know you, right? Like,
and so I've been working with him every day, man. He's got my back. There's a lot of things I like about him other than like his knowledge and skill, but it's like his lifestyle and his way of thinking also helps ground me and keep me focused. And a lot of times, like the last fight, the fight was in like the venue. It was great. Flex fights, they put on amazing cars. Like they have amazing production. It was in a club though. You know what I mean?
Well, I think you said something important. Wait, I want to back that up. Lifestyle.
Right.
You're an athlete. I used to be an athlete.
Yes, sir.
And you're in the limelight. So
Yes,
that
sir.
means you got to be on all the time.
Yeah.
You got a target on your back all the time.
A big one right now.
And,
my
and
big mouth.
I think it's so important. You said lifestyle and Fahim's lifestyle.
Yes, sir.
You know, you talk a lot of trash, which I think is great because it's your craft and it's your business. But
Right.
outside the ring, I want everyone to get it straight. Al is a very great and well-mannered and very respectable person.
Yes, sir.
But that's where the athlete side has to come out strong.
Yes, sir.
Is that a professional knows when, okay, I got to toe this line.
Yes, sir.
And I got to stop. I can't go any further.
Yeah, don't get it twisted.
Everyone's out to get you.
Don't get it twisted. I'm extremely focused. I put in hours on hours on hours.
Sorry, I didn't mean to stop your story.
No, it's good. No, it's good to talk about because, you know, a lot of people think that just because you talk trash, that's all you are.
Right.
And the fact of the matter is, like, if you know me, you know I'm in the gym every day.
Put in the work.
6-7 hours a day. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not playing around. Like, for all the trash talk we do, we back it up times 10. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's easy for opponents to say, oh, you just talk. Well, okay, think that. Just continue thinking that, please, because I'll show you different.
Sometimes athletes, and that's important, you know, part of the series, you know, athletes get a bad name sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's because the media portrays them that way, or they do something stupid.
Yes, sir.
Right? And or usually it's a combination of the two.
Yes, sir.
But not enough times in this world do athletes get the positive news. Like, you do a ton of community service,
Yes,
right?
sir.
You work with a ton of local charity groups, and you work
Yes,
with a
sir.
ton of youth, helping them, right? So that's where I really want to make sure we pull back that veil and understand that Al does a great job in the community. We try to do
sir.
the little things, and then the little things take care of the
Every day.
big things, you know?
I mean, you know me. I've been in that spot. I've been the kid that couldn't afford the off-season wrestling. You know what I mean? I've been the
it's
kid
expensive.
who had talent, but, you know, and people like Coach T and Coach Servidone and Coach
yeah.
LaMountain, Coach Paquette from TNT, Joe DeMayo, rest his soul,
Rest his soul.
Amazing coach. Those guys always looked out for me, so I feel like it's my duty, especially to those people, whenever I can, to go back and relight that flame for the kids
You have a whole generation under you that are looking up to you.
They look up to me, and
they're going to the fights. They're
this-
there with their dad or their
sir.
grandfather, and
The scary part about this generation, this is a point and click generation.
Yeah.
And trying to break that mold is really hard.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's really hard to break that mold.
They have to see you live in it.
Yeah,
Right.
especially in your terminology, to point and click. It's all it takes is one bad thing. You could have done 500 right things, and it takes one bad thing,
bad decision,
and that's the thing that gets shared, and
infinitely right
across the social media
You get your 15 minutes for the worst possible thing.
My opinion on that, though, is that as a as an athlete / entertainer, because that's what we are in the fight business, you should be able to ride any wave. You know what I mean? Yeah. The good thing about the fighting world is, you got guys like Mike Tyson, John Jones, some people who've done some crazy things.
They love them. People love them. People hate them.
People love them. People hate them. But they've been able to ride that wave and use it to fuel their career. So.
Yeah.
Me personally, in my life right now, I'm extremely focused. Like, I'm extremely single-mindedly focused. Like, I'm not really paying attention to much else going on, right? I'm fighting. I'm in cage fight. There's people that are seriously training to knock my head off.
They want to hurt you.
They want to hurt me.
Right.
I talk a lot. You know what I mean? I'm a good-looking guy. I got the belt.
The best looking.
Come
on.
Modest. Super modest.
You're the best looking guy.
So they want to take that spotlight from me, right? And right now I'm extremely focused on making sure that I can protect that and use that as fuel to launch me forward to where I'm trying to go.
So we'll wrap on this. When do you think the next level is going to happen? When do you anticipate? I want to hear it from you.
So this is the plan. Like you said, I'm an athlete. I'm a smart guy. Our plan is to go to Buffalo, storm Buffalo, my second home.
Here we go.
Win this K4 fighting belt. Yes. Beat this bum Nat Kaba.
Yes.
Then I'm gonna take my crusade. We're gonna march into Philadelphia, 50 deep, 100 deep, 200 deep. Sell that arena out. We're gonna win the second Cage Wars belt, champ, heavyweight and super heavyweight.
Double champ.
Then we're gonna bring the Cavalry back home in Schenectady, September 19th. Cage Wars, wrap it up. El Shaddai's final amateur fight. It's going to be a sold-out crowd. People are going to be lit. I got something special planned for that fight. You'll see. And we're going to wrap it up there, and after that, we're going to move on to pro. We're going to take it to the highest levels that it can take it.
That's great. I'm excited. I get to put the belt on you in your final amateur appearance when you win it, I hope.
You helped me figure it out last time.
Barely fit. I was pulling, dude.
I lost a couple pounds.
I've been working out. I'm like, come on. I know I couldn't fit around my fat butt. I'll tell you that right now. I'm way overweight. So, El, thank you so much for joining us today.
You.
It's been a pleasure.
I'm so happy.
Coach,
I'm gonna let Mark wrap with some of the info for our listeners to know how to get a hold of us.
Yeah, and as always with the Your Money series, Your Coach, Your Money, you can find us at yourtimeyourmoney.net, 844-444-YTYM, 43 British American Boulevard in Latham, New York, 12110. And as always, it's your coach and your money.
See you guys.